Today we're broadcasting from the Sporting Bet Cox Plate Breakfast with the Best, live from Moonee Valley Racecourse, and our special guest joins us in studio, Gai Waterhouse. Good morning, dear Gai.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm sitting here looking at these recalls. Isn't this wonderful? You can see the horses coming racing in Doncaster in England, and last week at here we were at Caulfield. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because you and I have met, but we met in the Coolmore box at Royal Ascot. You wouldn't recognise me without my top hat on. That's the only thing.
I didn't recognise you without your top hat, but I'll tell you, you look damn good on the day.
So you had good cheers?
Isn't it amazing when you meet someone for the first time, as I am now, but I've seen so much of Gai in the paper and on television, I think I know her.
Well, everyone feels the same way, I'm the girl next door. I'm not really. No, I think the great thing about racing this time of year in the spring in Melbourne is the wonderful coverage that is carried. Like, where in the world do you get 10 to 15 pages in the tabloids, page after page on racing? You just don't get it.
We had this discussion about 5:30 this morning when we start work at the same time as you. We're having the same discussion. Is there anywhere in the world that has the same fascination and coverage of horse racing as there is in Australia?
Nowhere at all. Nowhere at all. And your other states of Australia don't cover it the same way. And you go to America or England or France and it just gets a token coverage. Melburnians and Victorians are passionate about this sport, and it really comes out in the way it's so brilliantly covered. Like, you carry 6 weeks. You start off at Caulfield, then we go to Moonee Valley, which of course we've got the double meeting coming up tomorrow and the next day, or the end of the week and the next Saturday. And then of course you go on to the 4 days and then back to Caulfield because they've moved Sandown to Caulfield this year.
Well, Ross has a theory that Melbourne and Sydney are not different cities, they're different countries. Is that equivalent in racing?
I think so, very much so. We went to the awards the other night and it was amazing. Everyone on that table with us, Rob and I, were passionate racing people, and many of them had horses that had been to Warrnambool. They've got jumpers, they've got sprinters, they've got everything.
Right, I've got a number of theories in life. John's just espoused one of them. One of my other theories is, one of the reasons I'm passionate about horse racing is horse racing people are never boring.
Never boring.
I don't know, if you're involved in horse racing, you are by definition not going to be a boring person because it is a game of chance.
Well, when we had EI, I didn't have. I had lots
Equine
to do.
influenza, Bernard.
Yes, I had lots to do, but of course I couldn't go to the races with my horses. And I must say, it was amazing. The phone stopped, and for 3 months it never rang. And I thought, gosh, I really miss people not ringing me up and asking me about their horses and not being able to pick up. The wonderful thing about being a horse trainer, and I don't know what to say with a jockey, but you can pick up the phone to anyone. You can ring the Prime Minister, you can ring Alan Jones, you can ring Ross and John. I mean, you can ring anyone and they'll take your call.
Well, Bob Hawke used to be a complete pest, didn't he?
Well,
he used to talk about you ringing him. He would ring you.
And Bob Askin, who was the Premier of New South Wales, when I was a kid growing up, Bob would ring every Saturday for the tips from Dad. And Bob Hawke was the same, I don't know about Tony Abbott if he's a keen punter, but I've met him on the racetrack enough times, so if he's got any brains, he'll be a keen punter.
Right, let me ask you this. You got bothered a couple of weeks ago. I think you would have turned up somewhere and all of a sudden the press were asking you whether you were going to move to Melbourne. There was a call to this radio program, and I think we've got the rumour file, and it suggested that there was a rumour that you were going to move to Melbourne. Now, given that you've just described how passionate Melbourne people are about racing, is there any prospect of you moving the headquarters of your operation from Sydney to Melbourne?
I don't know if I'll move from Sydney to Melbourne. The headquarters, it's a very big operation in Sydney, and it's 120 horses in training, and I've got 20 in training in Melbourne, and I can't be in two places at once. So I just like to be. When I'm here, 110%, and when I'm in Sydney, I'm there. So, can't a girl have, two husbands? I mean, it's like...
Yeah. Not the last time I looked, but anyway.
I've only got one, I promise you.
I asked the previous person who was here, a horse trainer, whether or not it is necessary to be an animal lover to be a horse trainer, or is it strictly a business?
No, you've got to be an animal lover. You've got to enjoy, I think. Everyone's different, but I love the equine. I love the horses. I find them fascinating. I enjoy learning about them too, John. I find that it's something you never stop learning. And I love people who are interested in horses and have horses. I like being around the stables. I like being around the horses and the people there. I'm lucky enough to have a wonderful variety of owners, which makes my life very interesting and fascinating.
The person who you referred to as sitting in that chair just wasn't, any old Wally, Terry the trainer. It was a chap called Mark Kavanagh who has a horse called Atlantic Jewel, and the person with the best chance of beating Atlantic Jewel on Saturday is you with a horse called Fiorente. How's he going?
He's going super. He's worked him at Flemington this morning, and Blake Shin rode him. I just thought coming over here might just get his energy level up, so close to the race and that. I brought him here last Thursday. He was very happy here. He's a magnificent looking horse. He's furnished in the year he's been in Australia to a really big, strong horse. And his work's been excellent, and his races have been excellent. So I can't see why he doesn't have a really good chance.
Are they making the barrier draw for the Cox Plate the same way this year as they did last?
I hope they don't make the fiasco it was last year.
Have you got a different strategy for the barrier draw than you did last year when you
my
picked the widest?
strategy's always the same. I don't change much, my strategy's always the same.
So if you come out first, they say, Gai, you've got first pick for a barrier draw for Fiorente, what number are you going to pick? Give us an exclusive.
I don't know, it depends. It really depends where I've got in my mind where he's going to be travelling. It depends on the barrier draw, and I think that really is important. And last year I had very much an idea how I thought the mare would be travelling and where she should be in the race. And there was little discussion before it. That's probably why there was such a mess up. But everyone this year has left it in my hands. I mean, they're paying trainers good money to give them the advice. I mean, we earn our dollars out of making the right decisions, not the wrong decisions.
In a past life, you've been an actor. Do you still have a passion for acting?
I get enough of it every day in the theatre of the horse, don't I? I mean...
is there anyone, who's your favourite actress?
Well, I must say, I just saw... I don't go to the theatre very much at all now. My hours are so different. But I saw Kate Blanchett in that latest film, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's quite a sad story. What's it called? I can't think what the name of it is.
Someone will tell us.
Anyway, it was wonderful, and I really enjoyed it. And the lovely thing about watching a great actress or a great actor is that you're not aware who they are. I wasn't aware that it was Kate Blanchett. I was just aware of the character she was portraying. It was great.
Gai, it's lovely to talk with you. Just tell us, we're out at Moonee Valley, which is, I guess, our nearest racetrack in Australia to Happy Valley, it being, a racetrack in the suburbs. What's your favourite racetrack in the world?
Oh, well, I love the track I train on, which is Flemington. I love Randwick. They're the two that, I know them very well, and I enjoy being there. I love the July course at Newmarket. I think it's quite delightful. I love Deauville. I haven't been there for many years, but it was gorgeous, and you can go down where the surf hits the turf, and so that was great. I'm just seeing Kingston Town up there now, and what a magnificent horse he was. I'd love to. I asked Miracle Mal this morning.
Miracle Mel Johnson. He won 3 here at the Cox Plate. Tell us about your Living the Dream Syndicate. How do people get involved?
Well, that's it. Anyone can get involved. And I'll tell you why that's so marvellous, Ross, is that it's $96 a month. It's under $100. And where in the world, and there's nowhere in the world except Australia, that the average person can go and own a share in a racehorse. It might only be a tiny share, but, you are able to live the dream. And it is a dream. It's something, go down the pub and you say, oh, Gai, my horse is running in the Cox Plate this weekend, or my horse is in the Melbourne Cup, or it's in the Brisbane Cup, or we're going over to New Zealand to contest such and such. They've got a part of it. It's very much for the people.
Good on you, Gai. That's Living the Dream is Gai's new syndicate. Blue Jasmine is the movie with Kate Blanchett. Lovely to see you again without me, and me without me top hat. Cheers, Gai. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Ross. Thanks, John.